Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. Today is Monday, and so I'm going to be making with you a delicious breakfast scramble. This is a spicy chickpea scramble, and it's super flavorful and super duper easy to make. I'm going to show you how to do it all in a few simple steps, and I'm going to put on my overhead cam. If this is your first time joining us, you can see that I'm going to be showing you how to cook it, how to slice and dice, how to whip this breakfast up in no time. And if you have any questions along the way, you can go ahead and pop them in the comment box. I'd love to hear if you have any questions so I can engage with you, and let me know that you're here and where you're watching in from. I'm always so curious about that. All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna make a spicy chickpea scramble. So have you ever eaten a chickpea scramble before that tastes like, more like beans or chickpeas than it does, like a scramble, like a breakfast offering? Well, today I'm gonna help you make something that is really, really flavorful. This is a chickpea scramble made with chickpeas, so no tofu, no tempeh, obviously no eggs because it's all plant-based cooking here at Plant-Based Made Easy. But we're gonna really flavor these chickpeas up and make them really super delicious. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you, ladies. All right, so first things first, we need aromatics. I'm gonna start with my saute pan right here, and I'll do a split screen overhead, and if any point you can't hear me, just let me know. You can type it in the comment box. I'm doing well, thank you, Jennifer. How are you? Charisse, hello, good to see you. All right, so I'm gonna do an overhead cam so you can follow along. First things first, aromatics. Let's talk about onions. So I'm gonna use half of a yellow onion. You can use white onion. You could even use red onion, even shallot, scallion. All of those onions of the onion family will work, but I'm going yellow onion because that's what I have. Now, I'm just gonna pop this into the comment box. If you are unfamiliar with the recipe, where it's coming from, it's coming straight out of my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy Cookbook. This is issue number 6. We are working out of week 4 of issue number 6, and I write a new cookbook every month, and it is full of recipes from breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, sweets, and even staple recipes. So join in on the fun, and you can download that. I put the link there as the first comment. You can actually download it right here inside of the comment box. All right, so I'm going half of an onion. Just gonna slice half. I'm gonna keep the skin, the paper on the other half because it will keep it kind of from drying out in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use that half. But for today, just this little bit of onion is delicious and will work. If you're allergic to onion, you can replace this with anything. Let's say zucchini, mushrooms, that would be fantastic. Really anything else that you want. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Marie. All right, so here's how to slice and dice an onion. I'm gonna take my palm, I'm gonna put it over the onion, like holding it intact, right? I want it to make sure that it's secure on the cutting board. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run my knife through the onion, but not going all the way through. So I'm gonna pick this up and just show you. You can see I'm making these like little planks you can see in the front cam, yeah? All right, I'm gonna do it again, 1/4 of an inch higher, and keep going. 1/4 of an inch higher, 1/4 of an inch higher, and keep going until you get to the very top. Now, at this point, we've made lots of different planks. You can see this in the overhead cam. Now I'm gonna turn it facing me and go the opposite direction. Again, I'm not gonna go all the way through. You can see my knife is not going all the way through. I'm not slicing it completely through, but I am making perpendicular marks, in this case, slices. All right, now put it back to the first position and then just go for it. I'm gonna make small little dice pieces. Now this is really how you can chop an onion super quick. It doesn't matter though. They say there's multiple ways to skin a cat. So if you have your favorite way to chop an onion, you do you. But this is how I do it. It keeps it really kind of simple, and it prevents me from crying because I'm gonna slice it and dice it really quickly. So all of those like onion juice molecules don't have a lot of time to get to my eyeballs. And that's a really good thing when you don't wanna cry. All right, so I have a saute pan here. I'm gonna get it nice and hot. And to this, I'm gonna add just a little bit of EVOO, okay? Extra virgin olive oil. If you are whole food plant-based, you can remove this and you can do a water saute, but I'm just gonna use a little bit. Tablespoon, right? Get this nice and hot. I'm gonna try to do this, and I'm gonna pull it over. There we go. Hi, Penny. All right, here, I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Yeah, oh yeah, Cheryl, I'm so glad to hear that you made this. Cheryl Baker has been one of the founding members, I guess. You started right at the beginning. Cheryl, I really appreciate you. She says, yes, you've done this recipe a few times. You enjoyed it a lot, and you've tried to fix it a few different ways, different times. Have you modified the recipe at all, Cheryl? I'm curious to know if you've added different vegetables and things like that. Happy Monday, Penny. Good to see you. And Jennifer, I have a lot of favorite recipes, but I honestly, there's something very special about, I think, the breakfast recipes. So I love Mondays because we get to talk about all things breakfast. And if you guys are unfamiliar, I actually categorize my monthly cookbooks by day. So on Mondays, we always do breakfast. Tuesdays is lunch. Wednesdays is dinner. Thursdays is a snack. And Fridays, we do sweets. And then on the weekends, even though I don't do my show on the weekends, I actually include weekend recipes inside of the cookbook, which are staple recipes. I'm going to show you that. Like, for instance, this past weekend, our staple recipe was plant-based mozzarella. So if you're interested, the staple recipes are fantastic, and they're in the cookbook from month to month. I'm just going back to our page here. And I love the staple recipes because these are going to save money and save time, but also going to make your kitchen even healthier because you're going to like knock it out by making all of these staples homemade. So the staples include milk, cheese, bread, and yogurt. I'm making another batch of the yogurt today. Have you guys tried the yogurt recipe? Anyone tried it out there? Auntie Ree, did you try the yogurt recipe? I'm not really sure if you have the ability to ferment in your oven, but I absolutely love the yogurt recipe. It is really, really yummy. I make it with cashews just soaked up. And I ferment it at 110 degrees inside of my oven for about 12 hours. And it's really nice, delicious, cultured, fermented plant-based yogurt. It's yummy. All right, so I'm letting this onion go. You can see I'm just like kind of mixing that up. I really want to make sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom. I've used a little oil here, but you can use water. Like I said, if you are SOS free or salt, oil, sugar free, also known as whole food plant-based, if that is your jam, good on ya. And you can just do a water saute. But I'm going to use oil because I do eat a little bit of oil in my diet, and I do include oil in my recipes, but I just do a little bit. All right, I'm going to now add another aromatic, a fresh garlic clove. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and then just give this a whack. And then I'm going to run it through the garlic press. Now, I really think that this is super important. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's dramatic. You don't need to whack your garlic. But true that, you really do. Because when you do, you release the really important antiviral, antimicrobial, and antifungal property inside of garlic called allicin. It's a chemical compound that really is activated when you either heat it in a pan or you whack it. You can actually stimulate the juices and the allicin, that chemical, by whacking it. And that's really why we do that. All right, I'm going to put this in my garlic press. I'm going to add a little minced garlic to my saute pan here with the onions. This is optional, of course, if you are not a garlic lover. Let's say maybe you want ginger instead. That would be fantastic. You guys have fun with these recipes. You can modify them and you can make them kind of anything that you want, depending on your style of eating, your dietary restrictions, your family's flavor profile, their likes and dislikes in the kitchen. Like, make these recipes your own. Like, take note from Cheryl Baker. I really appreciate you, Cheryl, because you often will make the recipes and you'll make them over and over again, which is really kind of cool. And when you're doing that, you're actually mastering the recipe, definitely mastering the recipe and getting really used to cooking this way, but you're also making it your own each time, right? And that's the cool thing about plant-based eating, is that it's simple enough that you can really kind of modify it however you need. Oftentimes people really get stuck, transitioning to plant-based or vegan lifestyle because they believe it's going to be too difficult. Like, it's going to be more difficult than, let's say, eating animal products like meats and cheeses and things like that. But the truth is, plant-based eating is actually simpler. It's simpler because you have access to more fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, all of the plant foods. There's more available to you than, let's say, meat and dairy. Excuse me one second. I have a little piece of hair in my eye. I've got to just flick my fringe. Excuse me about that. All right, so this is looking good. Now, I just really want to kind of make sure my onion is nice and translucent. Yeah, I'm only going to use 1 clove of garlic. This is a great comment. You can actually use a few if you want, but I really just, for me, for breakfast foods, I don't want it to be too, too much of a punch in my face right at the beginning of the day, but totally up to you. I like this recipe. Auntie Ree, this is my aunt, by the way. Say hello to my aunt, everyone. I like this recipe because it's not only great for lunch, but it's dinner, breakfast, but it can be also great for lunch or dinner because it is super flavorful. So if you're going to make this for a midday meal or even breakfast for dinner, you can absolutely use more aromatics, including garlic. All right, so this looks really fantastic. Next thing I need to prep up is a bell pepper. Now, I'm going to use orange bell pepper because that's my business and that's what I could find. And it's just so gorgeous. Look at how beautiful this orange bell is, right? Yum. You can use red. You can use yellow. You can use green. I once got a question, is there different nutritional value in different colors of the bell peppers? Does anyone know the answer to that? Can you guess? Oh, Cindy, you're watching from YouTube. Awesome. I want you guys to guess. Is there more nutritional value in like a different color? Let's say a green bell pepper. Is it more or less nutrient dense than an orange bell pepper? Just curious to know what you might think. I'm going to tell you the answer right now. It's actually less nutrient dense. The green bell pepper is actually less nutrient dense than the yellow, the orange, and the red. Now, have you ever wondered if you go to buy bell pepper at the store, like why is the green always available and why is it less expensive? Well, it's less expensive because it actually is less nutrient dense. It has less flavor. It has less, just insignificantly, but you can tell a difference, and less vitamins and minerals, okay? And, you know, one of the ways that we know if food is really nutrient dense is by its color. And we talk a lot about this here in my kitchen because I love eating the rainbow and I often talk about this. But you know something is really kind of good for you, very nutrient dense, if it is very colorful. So think of all your favorite colorful fruits and veggies. Those ones are going to be the highest amount of nutrients. Mostly they have the highest amounts of antioxidants. Yeah, all right, Erica, you got it. Yes, there's a difference, she says. Different colors equals different vitamins. Yeah, girlfriend, that's right. Exactly right, absolutely. Orange, I think, is my favorite. It tends to be sweeter. It tends to have a lot of nutrients. It's harder to find, I would say, especially compared to the red or the yellow, but I love the orange. Oh, here, cool. All right, Cindy says she's been peeling her garlic cloves ahead of time and keeping them in a glass container in her fridge. My mom suggested this a few weeks ago, so I'm glad that you took notes, Cindy, and you're trying it. It's really a great time saver. It really is. You can do that with ginger too, if you wanted. You could actually like peel up the ginger and have like little knobs of ginger waiting for you, or fresh turmeric. All right, so the bell pepper is now just getting mixed up. Next thing I want to add is a little bit of carrot. Now, I told you this scramble was going to be very flavorful. One of the ways it's going to be flavorful is not just the aromatics and not just the spice mixture that we're going to add, but it's the vegetables, okay? It's going to give it a lot of different flavor, crunch factor, and color. So I'm going to add some of these carrots. These are just like shredded carrots, but you can use chopped carrots. Just make sure they're small little pieces, about 2/3 cup. And you guys, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give quantities right now because I'm kind of whipping through the recipe. I do a lot of the mise en place ahead of time, like I scale out the amount of spices and things like that we need. But if you want the quantities, download the cookbook, okay? Because you'll really like it. And if you have any questions about the recipes, I love when people reach out to me as they're cooking through the week. Hey, chef, how do you make this? Hey, chef, I changed the recipe this way. Do you think that this will work next time? Whatever your comment or question is, like I love to hear from you because I love to see how are you working through the recipe. It's really kind of cool to see. I spend about a month or so writing each cookbook the month before. And it's really wonderful to kind of witness how you guys will kind of, adapt them for your family's needs and for your tastes. It's fantastic. Yeah, well, it does work. All right. Oh, here. Good tip. Trader Joe's, are you familiar? If you guys have a Trader Joe's near you, they always have a 3-pack of organic yellow, orange, and red bell peppers. And you can buy them in that 3-pack and kind of use the most colorful of the bell peppers throughout your week. And you can get 3 in 1 pack. I love that pack. They sometimes don't have it at my Trader Joe's, but when they do, I always try to grab one. All right, what's up next? All right, next, let's let the carrot, the bell pepper, and the onion and garlic do their thing. But remember, I say, whenever you add something to the pan, you want to season as you go. So important. And when you do this, you're actually removing a lot of the water, the salt in and of itself is going to kind of extract the natural water from the produce, okay? So we're also going to layer in flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit of freshly ground black pepper and now a little bit of sea salt, all right? And I'm just using regular sea salt so you can see. Oh, no, this is kosher. This is the last of the kosher salt that I have. I've transitioned now every salt well in my kitchens. I have multiple kitchens. I have my studio and then I have my home kitchen. All of them now have sea salt in the salt wells except for this bit. I used to use only kosher salt, but I've transitioned to sea salt because I think it's softer. And when I started eating plant-based food, I really wanted to taste the produce. Like I was really interested in, I'm like, I've replaced meat and dairy and even eggs with plant foods. And now all of a sudden my palate started to shift. Has this happened to you? Are you guys picking up on this as well in your own home, in the meals that you're cooking and on your palate? Like you start to really crave the taste of the produce, the plants itself. And so I'm using the sea salt now because I feel like it is softer. It allows me to flavor my food, but not overwhelm it. And it allows me to taste my food more. So you can use a lot less, and it helps you to really taste the carrot, let's say in this dish, or the bell pepper, or whatever. I'm gonna take a swig of water, excuse me. Cheers. We miss you, Mickey. All right, coming back. Now let's talk about chickpeas, also known as chichi beans, chechi beans, garbanzo beans, all the same word for the same bean. All right, this is a garbanzo bean. Okay, I grew up saying chichi bean. I know people that grew up saying chechi bean, different words, right? I like these a lot. My favorite bean because they're super buttery. They're really great for lots of different things. You can make, obviously, hummus is made from garbanzo beans or chickpeas. But you can actually throw them into chili. You can use all parts of the garbanzo bean, meaning the water. So if you're actually starting these from dry, you're going to let them soak in water overnight, and then you can cook them up, and they're really, really delicious if you actually start these from dried beans and then cook them in a pot of water. They take about 4 hours to cook. And then if you're getting them out of the can, which I usually do, I don't usually do it from dry because I don't have all that much time. Let me tell you, I save this. This is the brine or the canned liquid, okay? This is the garbanzo bean liquid. And I save this for all of my vegan sauces or mousse or what else do I make with it? Vegan mayo, okay? That's the most important thing. I love making fresh vegan mayo, and I save my aquafaba. That is the canned liquid from the garbanzo beans or chickpeas. I save it, and then I make myself a nice big batch of vegan mayo that's gonna last me probably 4 weeks in my refrigerator. You can also use it to make chocolate torte. You can make it meringue out of it. Lots of different wonderful vegan dishes using that aquafaba, okay? And that's just the name of it, aquafaba. It's all one word. And I love to save my aquafaba and use it in lots of different ways. So you can experiment with that on your own if you want. Okay, coming back to the chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Oh, that's cool. Sita, thank you so much. Okay, Sita from Trinidad calls them chana, the chickpea that is. Okay, so chana. I love these. We're going to call them chana from now on. Okay, the chana beans, I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to mash them up. You can see that what I did before I got to this point is I drained them and I rinsed them, okay? Doing that is gonna remove up to 1/3 of the amount of sodium in your chana or your chickpeas or your garbanzo beans. And really important that you definitely want to remove you wanna drain them and rinse them so you can remove a lot of that sodium. Even if you're not whole food plant-based, meaning you're not kind of taking account of all of your sugar and your salt and your oil, it's a good thing to rinse and drain your beans anyway. And here's why. You can actually add your salt back in with whatever you're using the beans, whatever dish you're using the beans in. So you can add your salt back in with other ingredients, okay? I would prefer that you enjoy salt from other things like flavor agents and other ingredients as opposed to just bean liquid, okay? And even just, it's the rinsing that's the most important. Obviously the draining, nobody wants to probably eat a whole can of beans with all the liquid, but it's the rinsing that's the most important. That's what's going to remove all of that sodium, or 1/3, like I said. And I'm just mashing this up because remember, this is a chickpea scramble. So we really, really want to make sure that this is nice and kind of mashed, not completely pureed. So you can see I'm not using a food processor for this. I'm not using a brick mortar and pestle. I'm using a fork. I'm just kind of going for it. And I want to make sure that it's just nice and almost fully mashed, but still kind of on the chunky side. Little bits of chunk is great. And this is going to mimic egg, all right? It's going to look like scramble. All right. I can see that I need a little bit of water. And I can show you how I know that. You see the bottom of my pan here? I'm just going to lift it up. Yeah, it's a little bit brown. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deglaze the pan. Watch this. I'm going to take a little bit of my water. And you just kind of let it sit. This is deglazing the sook. Now the sook is a French term for the brown bits. And by doing that, you can literally kind of just remove that sook. And all of that sook is actually really nice flavor. So we don't want to continue to burn the bottom of the pan. We want to kind of release this soak and enjoy it. I want it to stick to the rest of the ingredients in this pan. Okay, this is fantastic. The chickpeas or the chana looks ready. I'm gonna now add it. Don't waste a bit. I'm using 1 14.5-ounce can of chana or chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Does this work for any other bean? Okay, that's a good question. I'll say that it can, but my absolute favorite is going to be the garbanzo bean. The chickpea is kind of like the mother of all beans in terms of plant-based eating. I think it's really versatile, that's why. And it kind of has a neutral flavor, but could you use another bean? Okay, sure, you could. Maybe the best next would be, I don't know, let's say cannellini beans, okay? Our navy beans or cannellini beans, great northern beans. These are lots of different names for the same thing, and another white bean. The thing about other beans is that they tend to be a little bit more moist, okay? The chickpea is a little drier, so it kind of is gonna be the perfect thing for chickpea scramble or scramble in general, vegan scramble. The other beans are gonna be a little bit more moist and it's gonna kind of taste more like bean, okay? But the chickpea itself is really nice because it's drier and it's just gonna like end up tasting like scramble. All right. This looks fantastic. Now, last flavor agents. What's going on with this one bang here? Just like hanging out. Sorry, guys. Let me just do a little bit of hand sanding. I'm going to now add the flavor agents. I really like to add a little bit of a couple different spices. Here's my spice mixture. A little cayenne pepper, which I'm going to add today. This is going to be the spicy of the bits, right? We need a little spice. A little turmeric for color, because this is going to make it look like, it looks like a heart. That's a heart, people. You see it? Yay, what a gift. And then a little nutritional yeast or nooch, okay? This is wonderful. Nutritional yeast, high in vitamin B12, really important for us if we are whole food plant-based. So I'm gonna start with the cayenne pepper and I'm just gonna like sprinkle it on. Next, I'm going the heart of turmeric. Ooh, this is so beautiful. I love that it's a heart. Now, turmeric is really important for our body. It's very anti-inflammatory if we combine it with black pepper. So we already have a little black pepper here in the dish because remember we salted it and peppered it. So that's going to be fantastic. And then a little bit of nooch or nutritional yeast, okay? And I'm just going to mix this up. And now I've added the seasoning here. The spice agents, I want to add a little bit more salt and pepper too because we've added the chickpeas. And remember, we removed 1/3 of the sodium, so we can now add back a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit more black pepper as well because I want to see little flakes of black pepper. So delicious. You need lots of cracked black pepper in your scramble, right? A little bit of salt. And now if you wanted to, you could actually add some spinach, which I think I'm going to do. This is beautiful in and of itself. It's gorgeous. It looks, you know, it's perfect. It looks, you know, just like a scramble at this point, but I want a little bit green, a little bit more green in my my scramble. So I'm going to add 4 cups of baby spinach, and I'm just going to let this wilt. If you want, at this point, you can add a little bit of water. This might kind of help it along. And obviously the spinach is totally optional, but this is gonna add just a nice big helping of iron and fiber, even more so than what's already in this dish with the chickpea scramble. You could add any dark leafy greens if you wanted. Just make sure they're small bits. So this is baby spinach here, so it's kind of already mixed up. I mean, it's kind of already small, is what I meant to say. But if you wanted to, you could use Swiss chard. Make sure it's just broken down into or chopped up in small bits. You could use kale. You could even use arugula if you wanted to. Absolutely. Yeah, Jennifer, this is a good question. Will it work with tofu? Absolutely it will. If you wanted to use tofu for this instead of chickpeas, let's say you had a chickpea allergy. You can't have garbanzo beans. You have a chickpea allergy, whatever, right? You could use tofu. I recommend organic sprouted tofu. You'll see me do it. If you ever go back, you can go back actually to any of my past scramble recipes. Most of them include, instead of beans or chickpeas, I'm using tofu, and I use organic sprouted tofu. And I talk a lot about the importance of that product. But just a quick bit, if you are going to use tofu, I recommend use organic, okay? You don't want to be eating conventional tofu if you can avoid it. Conventional tofu created created. Grown and harvested and processed here in the United States is usually genetically modified. So it is a genetically modified organism, the soybean seed itself. So if you are going to enjoy tofu, make sure it's USDA organic if you can here in the US. Absolutely. Cindy, great idea. You could put this inside of a big tortilla and make a big whole wheat, tortilla, make it a huge breakfast burrito. You could add anything else, maybe some rice if you wanted to, maybe some avocado, guacamole. How about some delicious plant-based sour cream? Now, I've already given you the recipe for that. Check out the plant-based yogurt recipe that's in your cookbook. It's one of the staple recipes. You can add a little lime juice to that after you've made the yogurt, and all of a sudden you have the most delicious vegan sour cream you'll ever have. I swear you are not going to be able to tell that it is plant-based or vegan. It is really yummy. Okay, this scramble is nearly done. It looks really yummy. You know that I'm like ready to plate when my mouth starts watering, so don't mind me. All right, so I'm going to serve up this spicy chickpea scramble with a little toast because I can. I have some here. This is gluten-free toast. I have it already buttered and ready to go. Here's my plate. Oh, look at the colors in this dish. I'm so glad I added the spinach. Absolutely worth it. It makes it pop with that green. Take a look at this. Let me just add my toast here. Yum. Here we go. Spicy chickpea scramble ready for you, ready for your family. I really hope that you guys try this recipe. I'm going to try it right now. Fork. Gratitude. Thank you for this food. Thank you. Yum. Mmm. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Excuse me. Mmm. Oh my gosh. Yum. Spicy, cheesy from the nutritional yeast. It really tastes like scramble. I can't tell that it's not egg, even if I wanted to. It really tastes like that delicious, eggy breakfast scramble quality. I have to have another bite. I love the spinach too. It's nice and fresh. The spinach really kind of cuts the savory quality and it adds a nice freshness. The carrot is phenomenal in this. It adds sweetness. Fantastic, you guys. Make this recipe, make it your own. Please take a photo if you do and pop it inside of our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a fun recipe. I'm definitely going to eat probably this entire pan because I can. You guys, I hope you have an awesome day. Please come back for more. I'm going to be back in the studio on Wednesday, and I'm really excited to feature the only bean pasta this Wednesday. I'm making creamy pantry pasta. This recipe you are going to love, so please join me for that. I'm going to be talking about the only bean. It is a wonderful pasta product, and I hope to see you then. If you have questions along the way, please get in touch with me and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.